brain, saved by the pain, ain't but a thing. Don't matter, he says I'm gon' need something else to burn. Daddy and I got nowhere to turn. I'm about to be jumping the sun. I'm not in the mix, but don't act like you ain't heard. How fast till you word? Well, work for what I heard. My peace can't get started. My mind's still on dreams. Soon as my eyes roll open, come good tokens. I've been training myself to add cheese to the picture. Smile go far, self-grace is worth a million. My outlook changed a bit, came a little up. By the time they want the price, the name that went up. Still got work to do, I'm trying daily. Cause don't end up and leave, but I can take it. By now all my demons know I'm praying. By now all my haters know I'm staying. Stack it, flip it, yeah, you know the plan. Feel like I been gave another chance. And it ain't wasted on gambles. Cause I knew I would be this faucets and pampers. They say that he won't put nothing on, you can't handle. So I just see a few more ships on my mantle. He says I'm gon' need something else to burn. Daddy and I got nowhere to turn. I'm about to be jumping the sun. I'm not in the mix, but don't act like you ain't heard. How fast till you word? Well, work for what I heard. My peace can't get started. Cause I trained myself to find the center on nights. I went no heated winter. Introspection peace when you let nothing out with inner easy. When you go without for dinner. And I wasn't even a teen yet. I learned that from my jeans stretch. I moderate now more cause I'm eating. Yes, I tolerate lactose where the cheese at. The pace is present, live in the future now. Can't waste a second. Gotta eat beats when I lack protein. Clean drip, it don't even need chlorine. Slim from the dirty, your knees folks green. I can teach them best. It ain't no situation you can't finesse. Keep your head high, learn what you worth for text. Serve 24 until you in your round of rest. Now thanks for eating Southern Cafe. Here's the check.
Blades in my hand, got the world in a spin. Javon's knife flicks, let the show begin. Every move sharp like the edge I hold. Stories untold, sharper than gold. Flick life, twist life, every frame tight. Knives on the screen, cutting through the night. Subscribers piling up like stacks on stacks. Javon's in the zone, ain't no turning back. Clicks and views, yeah, they fly like sparks. Knives in the dark, carving out my mark. From ballad songs, flipping to the sickest tricks. Javon's knife flicks, where legends are lit. Every video's fresh like a polished blade. Precision and grind, that's how dreams get paid. Cutting through limits, breaking the streak. Javon on the rise, every fan's heartbeat. From tutorials fire to unboxings insane. Content so slick, you won't leave the lane. Blood, sweat, grip, still in every flick. And Javon's world sharp is the only pick. Flick life, twist life, every frame tight. Knives on the screen, cutting through the night. Subscribers piling up like stacks on stacks. Javon's in the zone, ain't no turning back.
Went out because we only had a little bit, but are you high on cigarettes? And when that stuff runs out, you're gonna wanna make it. Are you high on cigarettes?
Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Do you know that you're right or wrong? 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 He don't smoke 'em, but he loves it when you do. That's why he's high on cigarettes. And if you find him, you should light him up a few. He's getting high on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Let's watch Javon's weirdness and get high on cigarettes. Do you know that you're right or wrong? 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 Do you know that you're right or wrong?
Yeah. You vibes in the word. What a wait. Late night creeps where the shadows grin. Juvons in the cut, let the games begin. With a flick of the blade, we dive in the sin. It's a marathon groove, not a race to win. The clock don't sleep, the knives don't pause. Chasing thrills, no time for applause. The world spins mad on Juvon's claws, where the edge cuts deep in the night's great jaws. Sit and spin under the neon glow. Wide awake where the insomniacs go. Feel the steel flash, let the adrenaline flow. Juvon's night flicks, it's the live late show. It's the live late show. Right. It's the live late show. We're too sharp to dull, too fast to catch. Each blade is the spark making midnight hatch. In the zone we own on this Twitch dispatch, where the world sits still but the vibes still match. Time's a blur in the sleepless den. Every move's a twist, that slice in the zen. Juvon's got the rhythm, the pulse of man. Locked in the spin till the morning end. Sit and spin under the neon glow. Wide awake where the insomniacs go. Feel the steel flash, let the adrenaline flow. Juvon's night flicks, it's the live late show. We're the wake, we're the ride. It's the live late show.
Good morning, madam. 2 pints and a fresh orange juice this morning, I believe.
You're not my milkman,
Well, no, hardly, madam. Actually, I've come to read the meter.
but you're not my usual meter reader.
No, he asked me to do him a favour and take a quick look at the meter while I'm here.
Well, why are you here?
A carol tell a lie. I'm from the council. Trained.
Oh, dear. But the man from the council was here last week.
Know him well. Told me all about it. Nasty business.
Well,
To tell the truth, I'm trying to sell you something. And it would be easier if we could discuss it inside.
I don't really believe you, but
Well,
still.
actually, of course, I am trying to con my way in and steal the family silver.
Not everyone is what they seem. Before you let strangers in, ask for proof of who they are, or make an appointment.
What is
There's too much water in that kettle. And now the lid's on crooked. And that means disaster for this lady. Because she is on a boat. Don't boil a kettle on a boat.
What is up, guys? I hope everybody can hear me. Scotty, maintenance kit. I happen to keep one right here. I took it with me at Blade Show. I've got a great little maintenance kit. Inexpensive, everything I would ever need. Outside of, I've got a T6, a T8, and a T10. If I needed a different knife, I could take different stuff. I'll jump in the chat in a second, but this is a little NAFS tool roll. It was gifted to me. I think it was Jim Miller maybe, but it folds up, and in it is where I keep all my maintenance stuff. So I've got some Vibratight, which I rarely use. I usually use my stick, but when I'm traveling, I use the Vibratight. I've got my KPL Original, KPL Heavy, and then I love this. I bought this off Amazon. It's a bit bar by Big Idea Design Company, and it stores 2 bits in the handle. one bit in the tip. You can use it like that, or you can use it like a T if you need more torque, or you can use it like a heavy duty wrench if you need a lot of torque. But anyway, I find this a great little Levit bar. I think it was $99, titanium. And then the star of the show on my little no teeth on the head's flat. It's very narrow. These are my Knipex adjustables. And what's great about these is they will fit a TRM or a Spyderco standoff perfectly between the scales or the liners. My little tiny, I think they're 5-inch Knipex. And then I've got this little pouch over on the side. And in my little pouch, I just carry some of these little Amazon / KPL Q-tips. You can use the plastic to ram pivots out. You can use the stuff to get smuts out. I would usually have a little alcohol and a couple of cleaning patches, like PP cleaning patches, but I don't carry those in my kit because typically if I'm on a trip, which is where I keep my maintenance kit, I also have that like on my desk on the other side. I've got I use the 12 gauge PP pouches or patches and rubbing alcohol every time I take something apart and clean it up. But that is a maintenance kit that's easy to pack, easy to take with you. I just dropped it in my shoulder bag when I went to Blade Show. I left it in the room, but Shane and I used it. I hope everybody is having. Breezeman Dane is over here hitting my streaming goals, giving me some Kick information, guys. We're streaming on Kick, and we're also on Rumble and YouTube, where we always hang out here. I'm going to go through and say hey to some people. I'm glad you guys are here on Tuesday night. I just noticed that Cole, Tri-State, stopped a little early, and I just jumped in, or he stopped on time. Marcus Gamble, what's up? I never want to go live when he's still live. Brother Fed Harrison, what is up? My man and channel member, good to see you, buddy. It's always good to see Marcos. Joe Kaspernick is in the house. What is up, brother? Joe Isabella's in the house. Joe, guess what? I have dropped the ball, and your package will go out tomorrow from your win. I forgot you DM me and you texted me, so I've got no excuse. I just used my email system as a trigger, and it didn't trigger me. I've got it boxed up, labeled up. I've got to actually label it up. I've got it weighed out. So you'll go out tomorrow, dude. I've got to catch the mailman because the box is too big to go in the box. What is up, Sobex? What is up, Scotty? One of my highlights of Blade Show. There are so many, but Scotty was definitely one of them. And Fed and the Kaiser dinner, because we got to hang out, everybody kind of in one spot. That was awesome. Henry G, what's up? What is up? We got some fixed blades to look at tonight. I've got a new folder in my pocket that I traded for with my local knife store. Knives and more. Mad Yako, what is up, brother? These guys are awesome for a lot of reasons. Anytime you see a knife, and I'm just showing some of them more free stuff off, and we destroyed a Benchmade today. I don't know if y'all seen that picture. That was actually done yesterday. They got in a fake Benchmade, and that's how a Benchmade Premium Plus dealer deals with one anytime they come in. But I traded my Benchmade Freak. I didn't carry much, and I've been looking for stuff to trade just to kind of freshen up my collection. And I traded for this TRM thick blade. Yeah, I know it's not a hollow grind. It could be, but it is one of the best button locks because I'm a big fan of the Malibu and the Mordax. However, they're both flipper tabs. I don't know if you can tell the thickness of these thumb studs. These thumb studs are beasts, so they give you a lot of traction. And this knife just thunders open. But this is, if I'm not mistaken, the TR3. And I traded a Benchmade Freak that I've had for probably, I don't know, 3 years, 2 years. I never used it. Kind of a big knife. It kind of fit the same. I've got two Doug Ritters. One of them's a user. MK2, and the other one is kind of a sentimental one from the first Knives Live that we did. What's up, Rody? Autumn Wind, what is up? Good to see you guys. Welcome, welcome. Alan Gray Wolf, welcome, welcome. I hope y'all get to hang out and chill with us. I'll stay as long as y'all are hanging out and wanting to engage with each other and talk. I know Tuesday nights are kind of weird. That's kind of why I chose it. Good to see you, Breeze. Where'd Breeze go? His comment went away. No, there it is. What is up, Breeze? What's up? People will bounce in and you'll get some comments from sometimes we get comments from Rumble. Usually those are Kyle Coonley playing somebody else, and then we'll get every now and then a kick comment. But if I wanted to guess real weird, which I ought to do one night, except it's hard for me to see, and I know it's kind of harder for a viewer. I love when Stevie goes vertical at the honey bucket, because those are shown in the short stream and you draw in some people. That's why he gets such unique characters. And then he gets characters that come back. Richard Hopkins, channel member, the main man. What is up? He's the reason I got a big box going to Joe Isabella. And I appreciate you, buddy. And this Saturday, y'all come. We've got another cool giveaway. So try to do that for members every Saturday at 3 p.m. now. That seems to be the new preferred time. I'll put what time? What's today? Tuesday. I don't want to promise and do something I can't really get done. I would say I'd put up a poll, but it seems like 3 o'clock works best. The other thing I carry today that seems to be in my pocket pretty constantly is my little Lucky Dog Bulldog, 4 3/4 inches, box opening, cat food shredding, little rocking AEBL knife. I'm a huge fan. It's a ram's foot, so it's real easy to just stick back in the Bolatron, which is kind of like Kydex sheath, in my pocket. But I've got some banger fixies. I had TCAL. This is the Melissa Backwoods collaboration, the Warren EDC. And I had it with the regular handles and the extended handles. And I reached out and asked TCAL if they would send me the ring handle, because this is the one you see on her video. And I'm not a tactical ring knife guy, but for just holding the knife, and if you were using it, say, trout fishing, you're in a stream, I could see how, you get more grip and it's not going to fall out of your hand. And then if you want to use it in a tactical grip, it is banging. So this knife, what I think so cool about it, and I'm trying to plant the seed in, and I think the seed might already be planted before I even started planting it. But this knife is built on the Piranha's platform. So the Piranha is the first small little knife that I bought from TCAL, that I was attracted to TCAL because of this little knife. And this is the same handle size, because when they say you can either get Piranha handles or an extended handle or a ring handle for this knife. So it's got maximum flexibility, but you could do so much more with, because the Piranha is a drop point. This they call a Warncliffe, kind of a reverse Tonto. They also do a Warncliffe that's curved. So TCAL has so many established tactical usable blade shapes that I think they could adapt to a small package. And I think people would embrace it even more when you've got grip handles that you can easily swap for, to make it where you can get a full grip on a small knife. Melissa Backwoods, or Melissa Miller, hats off to her. She did a fantastic job designing this little knife. And then Richard Hopkins sent me, he picked up a couple of Skur lights from our buddy Jack Billings over at Shed Knives. And I've got some full-size Skurs, but this is a little mini Skur. I don't know if you can see that hologron. He's doubled the action of hologron. Come on up, Kyle. What's up, buddy?
How we doing?
We're good, my friend. How are you?
I'm all right.
I'm just showing off knives, talking shit. What are you up to? You sharpening?
No, I got done with all that, so I'm just chilling. I figured I'd come say hey.
I'm glad you're here, dude. I'm trying to figure out, I'm not trying to figure it out now, but I know there's a way because I've seen them. There's a trick to wrapping skeletonized blades in paracord.
Yeah.
And I think you start here, knot it off, and then you do a wrap. But I've got to figure out and play with that because there are a couple, my Bradford G cleaver I'd like to do. I'd like to do some paracord on this one. And I've got different sizes, thicknesses, but I'd probably want to do 550.
There's all different types of ways. I've not done it, but I know there's different patterns you can do and all that kind of stuff. But I'm sure there's tutorials on YouTube.
I noticed our buddies at TS Prop have been posting it. It looks like there's a 29% site sale going on right now. You might have more information on that, but I saw that the clips were, I know, 29% off.
I have not heard from them.
Let me look at, well, I just saw it on their Instagram. I've not heard from them either, but let's go to TS Prof USA and just
look. I
look.
saw they posted a sale, but I've not talked to them.
Yeah, I've not talked to them either. But anytime you see social media activity, that's a positive sign that they haven't been bombed out by a drone.
What's up, Richard, Mills, Malcolm?
You say hey to everybody, buddy. I was starting to.
Chris, Scooter. No, that was earlier. Who did I miss? Alan, Henry.
All right, so they got the summer sale, June 25th through 30th. Up to 29%. Let's see what we got. This collection is empty. Now here's a Pioneer for $341, and they're 5 in stock. So there's not as much in the U.S. side as I thought there would be.
What's up, Jesse? Yeah, huh? I was saying hello to Jesse.
But is that showing the 20? Yeah, I thought it was.
Yeah, I've not heard from them. I don't know how they're doing the restocking, if they're having problems. I'm not sure. But it looks like they have some stock at least.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like if we go, well, let me share again, but I want to go back to their homepage. I think if we just look at, in the website, this is the US website. So this isn't the, this is the .us. So let's look at the brothers. Let's see if they've got these complete kits in stock. It might not be part of the sale.
Yeah, that's what's actually available in stock in Tennessee.
Let me go up here and let's go. Sharpeners all. So they got a lot of sharpeners up there, but the one that's on sale, the banging deal, Cadet Pro. That one's got the clamps move, right?
Which one?
On the Cadet Pro, the clamps go up and down as opposed to the rod going up and down, right?
It does both, but yeah. I mean, it's the same as the KO3 and the regular Cadet.
But I don't know those. I mean, a Blitz can do both too.
The Blitz is more stationary. So like the Pioneer does the same thing that this one does, I do believe. Where
the Pioneer that has on this one here, I don't know if you can see it, but your clamps have the ability to move up and down, where the Pioneer, they're fixed, if I'm not mistaken.
I thought the Pioneer moved up and down as well too.
No, these don't move up and down. The Pioneer does. The Pioneer, only the top moves up and down. And
okay,
this is the same way.
They have an attachment for the Pioneer that makes it do it like Pioneer Pro, where you can move up and down.
But what it moves up and down is it moves up and down the rod. Because the reason I know that is I had to learn how to use the what's it called? The what's the little digital cube called?
The X cube.
Yes. And
you
there's
go to
two ways
upgrade-
you can set it. You can set it for the Blitz cadet system, which have the actual clamps move, and that's what you set your sharpening angle off of once you zero it out. And then the other two, the clamps are fixed on the system, and the rod or the attachment that you can use. What the attachment does on the Pioneer system is it gives you the ability to use a dial as opposed to using that little dial and then moving it up by hand.
Right.
If
So
that makes sense.
let me pull mine forward and I'll show you.
Here's the Pioneer.
Right. So that's the adjustment you can get for the Pioneer to turn.
And I've got that. It works great, but it doesn't move. It doesn't move the clamps. It moves the arm.
Well, none of them technically move the clamps. So like even on mine, the big dog, this part in the back moves up and down. The clamps don't move up and down.
Right. But on the Blitz and the Cadet, the clamps do move.
The Cadet does not.
Okay. So there's another system besides the Blitz, and it may be the one they phased out where the clamps do move along an axis.
That one, yeah, it goes this way because it doesn't have an adjustment from the back. That's the Blitz. The rest of them do this where they can go up and down from the back.
Let me go to my
because right here is a Cadet, and same thing. It moves up and down from the back.
I always knock myself out.
See that?
Yep. Now, which one's that?
That's the Cadet, not the
Okay,
Pro.
so the Cadet, you're moving the clamps, just like on the Blitz. So when I adjust the Blitz up and down, the one I got to A to Z, I'm adjusting.
I guess
the
I'm
angle.
confused with what you're saying by the clamp. So this part is not stationary. It moves up and down.
Correct, but it's stationary on the Pioneer and on the K series, right? And you're moving the rod
Correct.
up and down to adjust your angle. That's all I was saying.
Part of the Pro series. So like they make a Cadet Pro where it does the same thing, where it's got that adjustment like on the KO3 where you turn a knob and this part goes up and down. This
Gotcha.
attachment goes up and down, but it's the same principle of this.
And of
So
obtaining an angle, it's doing the same math for somebody like me who doesn't know the difference, except set the angle and try to stay consistent with my strokes. Hey,
yeah,
Ron Crow, what's up, Bama fan?
yeah, so this one is just it's got the adjustment arm this
Paul
way.
Mills, what's up, brother? Hey, what is up, Andrew? Good to see you, man. Andrew sent me a shirt. Check it out. Off their merch site. I've requested it, and I think it's freaking awesome. It's soft. I need to find a better place besides Spring to get my little bit of merch done. The Spring stuff is just shoddy merch, except for the sweatshirts and the cuffs. But nobody needs that stuff. But yeah, I still think for me, and I think TS Prof has got the best systems for someone experienced, because I know you're experienced, or someone who's just getting comfortable, because I'm still just getting comfortable using on certain blades, because I know once I sharpen a blade, I'm going to take the value of the knife I'm sharpening with the type of knives I've got now down, even if I do a great job. Wouldn't you say that's true, Kyle?
For majority of people, yes.
For a professional, even if it's professionally sharpened, as sad as that is, most people want the factory edge. I know they check for that at Knives and More, even if the factory edge is shit.
That's ignorant, but yes, if it's professionally sharpened, then the value should not go down. It should actually go up.
I would agree. I would agree, and the value of the knife goes up to the user, which is how I think we should all look at any knife that we collect. I was talking to Richard Hopkins about that via text tonight, just about how this knife hike's so weird, and you change kind of allocating funds to different kind of knives, or like you have, Kyle, going into sharpening, a totally different side of the hobby, but equally, if not more important than buying knives. But there's so many ways you can go. And when you get to that point of feeling comfortable pulling the trigger on a rare knife or a custom knife or a handmade knife that you rarely see drop you see it drop and you jump on it, spend a little more than you initially planned on spending for a knife. That little initial guilt, I think, if you're looking at the right knives, can easily be overcome knowing that you can sell it if you hate it. And in most cases, you've taken resources that you would have allocated to maybe 2, 3 other little knives that don't have as much value per se, or aren't as cool for whatever reason you were attracted to it. I think you got to jump and seize those moments when it's within reach.
My best advice for purchasing knives. This is going to sound strange, but
everything you say sounds strange, and that's fine.
I appreciate that. Whatever you are looking for, say you're interested in a Hinderer and you've never held one before, or you're not sure, don't buy one. Don't buy cheap knives either. Find one at a good deal in the secondary, buy it, try it. If you don't like it, turn around and sell it, and you're not out the full amount because you're not taking the depreciation on the new knife.
Great advice.
If you do decide you like it and you're not necessarily happy with that version, turn around, sell it, save money, and buy the new one, the one you want. But don't get hooked on buying on drops, because you're taking it just like a car or just like anything else. It's a depreciating asset for 99% of the knives that are out there. They're not going to be worth more money than what
No.
you're paying for new. So
I think we're talking about like Aries EDC, Jacob Creates, these small batch makers who are dropping just a few knives because they can, right? Those are sometimes going to be harder to come across in the secondary, and in some cases, they're going to be more expensive than you could have gotten them at table or at drop.
That's potential, yeah, but I'm saying as a general rule of thumb for buying.
I think your general rule of thumb is fine if there was a way to get a comfort level, because someone like me has bought knives from friends, which I've been blessed to have a group of people who I can trade with. But Blade Binge is the only place I really know how to buy a knife, and I don't think I'm getting fair deals because I'm messaging and I've established some kind of parasocial relationship with everyone I've bought a knife from to feel like I'm getting a better deal and not screwing them out of the deal, because that's not what I want to do. I know, and I've even, things get weird and you take stuff offline sometimes because you want somebody to be able, they're trying to do the right thing and make a deal happen. YouTube terms of service. But my whole point is, I don't think a lot of people know, especially new people in the community. And I guess it's easy to learn, but where you always say you go to either knife forums.
So there's places you can go to.
Facebook groups.
You can do Facebook groups if you trust that thing. I'm not on Facebook. I hate the platform, but they actually have a decent selection of buying and selling. Is Knife Swap on Reddit. It's not necessarily protected like it is on Blade Binge, but you're getting better pricing. And also you're going to
Thanks, buddy.
Have a rating system somewhat like what an eBay would be, where your people get ratings based on how they interact.
Credibility kind of stuff.
And like you also have rules for beginners and newbies that it's very strict and you can't break certain things. Some of the rules are stupid, but they keep it strict to where it tries to limit any type of scamming and that kind of stuff. But you can get killer deals there. Like I said, for your Facebook groups. I don't really use Blade forums anymore. That's kind of a inundated. Yeah, it's kind of weird.
But you have to feel comfortable, like being somebody like you that can talk knives with somebody online. I would think, Bama, happy birthday.
Well, yeah, part of it's doing your research, knowing look and see what's out there. What's the market value on it worth? And that just takes, if you're interested in knife, do your research and take time and look around.
And let knives sell in front of you, or look at like sold listings. I know you can do that on eBay.
Hey, same thing. You can go on the Knife Swap and go in there and look and search by knife and go and see what it's sold for.
Okay. See, as long as there are places that you can look at market data like that.
Yeah. It's not as easily correlated as like eBay, but you can definitely go in there and do it. It's not hard.
Hey, Kevin Smith knows.
But if you're making a decent sized purchase, and I'm all for, I'd much rather someone save their money and get one nice knife than 3 budget knives.
Well, you're going to save 30% at least on the secondary, wouldn't you say? Except maybe on a Sebenza.
Minimum. Yeah, minimum.
Well,
hell, even Sebenza, you're getting 30%, 40% off.
Just from the fact that it's been sold.
Yeah, so like there are very, very, very few knives that hold table price. So even on secondary, you're going to get it well below that. So instead of buying 3 budget knives at $80 a piece, brand new, for $240, you can get a, roughly a $400 knife for the same price point.
Right.
So it's.
And if you're not happy with it, you can turn around and flip it and get your money back out of it in most cases.
Yeah, pretty close too. Yeah. Or even then, even if you take a loss, it's say a $40 loss. $40 loss is a hell of a lot better than a $160 loss.
And let me tell you, Lefty said this early on, and I found it very wise, more now than I did at the time. But think of it as a rental fee.
Yeah,
when he gets a knife and he sells it for a lot less, he's paid for the use of that knife, kind of like a lease. He got all the swag he could get out of it, and he's different than most people because it only takes him 24 hours. But he, and if he loses some money, that little bit of money was a use tax that he enjoyed, and it was worth it to him.
All right. The downside of that is don't constantly do that with new knives because you're always going to be losing money if you're doing it.
And I'm that guy.
Right. I mean, but if you go constantly buy a $425 knife every month and then you don't like it and you sell it for $350, $375, then that's not worth it when you could go buy that knife secondary for $300 to $350, and if you don't like it, you can sell it for $350 again and make your money back. There are much more beneficial ways to use your money wisely than
buying new stuff.
Yeah, I mean it's cool, but majority of the time you're not making money off of something.
No, and that's the whole thing. For me, I'm not in it as much to make money as just not take a bath. But the way I look at it is I'm always, when I make the decision to get something, it's kind of a forever knife, even though it never turns out being that way. And like with this knife, I traded a knife that might have been worth a little bit more. And it was like new in box, but I traded it for a new knife because they didn't have used ones available. And to me, it was worth it because it was something different. And I'm a knife junkie, so
the other thing for people to realize too is if you mod knives, 90% of the time you're not getting that money back for those mods at all, because you have to find the right person who wants the exact same mods that you have done. If you sell it for what the mods cost, you're never going to sell it for that. So,
and most people are going to see that as a depreciation. Anytime you do something that, if it's depending on the knife, they're not going to see the value that you put into it, to that mod, even if it's done by some reputable modders. Some people will, but like you said, you've minimized the market for that knife that's willing to pay what it's worth.
Perfect example of this. All in, this is like a $650, $670 PM2. I'm not going to sell it for that. I could sell it for $350, $300 without a problem, but I'm never going to get the full amount out of that.
But you never modded it with the intention, hey Kathleen, of getting the money out of it. So that's the other thing about a modded knife. You're making it its own. And a PM2, I've got 3 of them and know that I'll always have them in my collection. They're different blade shapes, but I love the knife.
Yeah,
I would have no problem modding it more than I have. So I've modded all of them, but only with, they're probably worth $400 maybe each.
Yeah, I mean, when I decided to buy full Zerk scales for that wasn't for the purpose of selling it and making money. It's because that's what I wanted.
And your Hinderer Eclipse that I think is so unique that you had customized.
Yeah.
That's one that is, and Stevie's Blessed Knives, his one is Wu-Tang. It's a great knife, but it's going to be minimally appealing because it's so uniquely him. He didn't
Right.
buy it to be appealing and to resell it.
Right.
And that's, I think, part of it too. When you get into knives, for me, it's been, what do I like? You know, whether it's Chinese, US. Lately, I've been leaning into US. You'd be proud, Kyle. My US box is still full. It has been for months. And now it's overflowed where I've got US knives in 2 other cases. Not full.
You've got a good collection.
Yeah, I'm starting to amass. I've got a lot of Protex. I really like them. I don't know why. I think it's because I like Dave, the owner, CEO.
Yep.
Have you met him before or seen him on videos? He's a very mild mannered,
I know of Dave.
kind guy.
Not talked to him, but I know of him.
Yeah, he seems to be straight up. He seems to be a good guy. And then you've got these imported. I saw these. This is a tenable par. This is a little knife that I picked up at Blade Show for $40 in 14C. It sells for 48 on the open market. But Concept has a par. A par is a Jonathan Styles. I'm not familiar with the guy. He looks like a nice guy. He was at the booth. He's a designer. This is his design, this little small fixie. But Concept has one that's like $99 that's S35 and a nicer handle, maybe micarta. But I think it's encouraging to see these companies making these small fixies in a range of $48 new to $99 new. Well, to what I think is a good little knife. I put it in my Oak City leather slip. It comes with a nice Kydex sheath, but they're made to be pocket droppers. They come with vertical clips.
If I had to pick between the two, I'd much rather have the tenable version.
You like the 14C better than the S35?
The way they do it, for sure, and especially for the price difference. And if you don't like the scales, put your own scales on.
Drink Water gifted a membership, dude. Thank you.
Hey, Todd.
Somebody got a membership. Let me give him a man hug. Shouldn't be too loud. I hope not. I didn't turn that down. Was it too loud?
Nope, it was okay.
Todd Carr, you received the membership, buddy. Say thank you to Drink Water and come join us Saturday at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time for a short live. And the great thing about that is, guys, Joe Isabella is proof. You can just pop in there because Loot's live right around there. Ron goes live usually at 4, I think. But all you have to do is pop into my live, leave the word in the window, in the chat. You'll see the word up there. Just chat it, go out. Once it's recorded, you don't have to be there to win. You just have to enter the word. So come join us, Todd.
Mr. Water.
Thank you, Drink Water. I appreciate you, dude. I hope you come too, man. Like I say, even if you can just pop in quick enough to drop that, I always try to have it on the screen. I go live now at 3. I put it on the screen immediately, and I always do the drawing about 3:30 to 3:45. But you do not have to be in there except for how long it takes you to type it. And it's not one of those things where we're going to think badly of you if you haven't been chatting and you have your name drawn, because I tell everybody that. It's just a come in here, it's a thank you, hang out if you want to. There are other lives, I realize that. Just drop a word and roll.
I know some people, or a decent amount of people, are fans of Concept. I think I have one knife from them, and I would say it's okay.
Which one do you have out of curiosity?
It's that one. It's the one from Scott Stills. Here it is.
Finrear? Nope.
The Simon.
Okay, the Simon. I've not tried that one. What do you think about it?
Yeah, that's the Simon. It's okay.
I'm going to tell you what I love about Concept. Is that S35?
Yeah,
Is it pretty smooth titanium or is it milled?
it's smooth.
Do you remember what it MSRP'd for? It was under $200 or close.
Yeah, it's like 180, 190, something like that.
All right. My tipper, which is the knife I really, really wanted. I'd love a custom one day. It's the Edgy Blade Works. Was 177 in S35. They do that to keep the cost down. And it's actually pretty good steel. I've not sharpened it, but I haven't had to. Have you sharpened it, Kyle?
Concept steel? Yeah.
Yeah, you. How's it feel?
Not this one, but I've sharpened Concepts before.
Like one of the newer S35s, because the knives they're making, like that knife and I forget the name of the other one. I've got one, a Hero, that I'm getting ready to review, that I'm not crazy about the shape, but I appreciate the fact that it's a unique design and it operates very well, either with the fuller or with the finger tab. It's just a kind of a lower profile knife, but they all seem to be built very well for the money. When you look at fit and finish, and again, they might not have M390 or S90V, but I just wonder how much better those steels would actually perform in cut tests than the S35 that they're using.
It's not going to be that much of an upgrade at all because they don't run their steels good. But the point being is it is well made. I don't have anything negative to say about that. It is a cool design from Scott. I'm not a fan of the blade finish, and I don't know. To me, it just feels a little boring. Maybe
they are a little, and I hate to use the word soulless because they're using other people's designs. So they're taking other people's designs and kind of not necessarily minimalizing their bling factor, but they're bringing them in at what I think is probably an entry level point. And then the bougie stuff that they do seems to be more ano based, which is not my favorite type of bougie finish.
Yeah.
You know, and that Damascus that they use is allegedly good, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I've got a Fenrir in Damascus, which may be Saturday's giveaway knife. We'll see. But it's a very nice, well built knife. Can't say anything about it. Comparing it to a Kaiser, where Concept got their start, if you guys know the history, i.e., lore, Concept was a couple of Kaiser guys allegedly. That started their own company. Whether they're all made in the same company still or not, I don't know. I just know that they make pretty good knives at what I feel is at a lower than Kaiser, a lower than Vosteed, a lower than the others price point, by about $50 on average. Hey, Angry Top, that next door.
I would say it is built better than most of those companies you just said. But yeah, it just feels boring to me. And that could be just, personal bias. I'm not really super excited about a lot of things.
I don't carry it as much as I would carry a lot of other knives.
I think it's probably on par with close to Wii as far as fit and finish for Wii's basic stuff. Wii does more intricate work though.
Right.
But it's definitely above your Vosteeds, your CJRBs, Artisans, those type of brands.
I'm gonna grab something. Then I'm gonna ask a question about Jared's knife in case I forget. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. What's up, guys? Hey, Cheeto. What'd you get? What'd you go grab?
I went to grab a knife that I meant to show you guys that interests me. Have you ever seen this?
I can't tell what it is now.
I'm gonna give you an idea of scale. This
Hey,
is
Neil.
this is a 4.0 Harsey. Well,
Okay, that's a big boy.
this is a big boy. I forget who the designer is. It's humongous.
That looks kind of like a Mikkel Williamson.
It's a Super Hawk. I'm about to find out who the designer is. It's a frame lock, flipper tab, kind of a sheep's footy. They also have one in a kind of an ugly drop point, but it's also got a fuller. But we were talking about concept, and what I like is they do stuff like this. They do stuff that's not really conventional. I've got a couple of others that are from, let me see who did the Super Hawk. I'm curious. It may be an internal design. Concept. Enter. Just present this real quick. I'll get us some background music. So this is, they're making this recurve, which I don't really dig. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And they make it in this Warhawk. Superhawk, Warhawk knives. Have you heard of them?
No.
Me neither. But they're evidently a designer that Concept worked with to bring this big ass 9.3 inch S35VN 6.84 ounce knife. Designer's Warhawk. Look at them.
Cheeto. That is a great design. I'm sure you're aware they had a lot of manufacturing issues with those when they came out. And the price was pretty crazy for a Chinese-made knife. But if you can find one in the secondary for a decent deal, it's a cool knife for sure. I really dig the
Eagle Rock?
Yeah. It's a CKF. Bob Truzzola collab.
Here's a custom Warhawk. See that booger?
Okay.
And then here's a concept Warhawk. They call it the Leviathan. There's the Warhawk custom. It looks kind of like it.
And Maddie's got one of those.
Who does?
Maddie's got one of those Leviathans.
Oh, does he?
Yeah. It's a big old boy.
So a custom.
Not a custom. He's got the.
Yeah, he's got the Leviathan.
Yeah.
So they're about 400 more for a custom.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's the 649 versus 249. There's one in stock. But it doesn't have a blade hole. It's just got the flipper tab. Or the Leviathan was, I think, 239.
Right on, Cheeto.
The artist formerly known as Cheeto. That made me laugh so much last night. The artist formerly known as. I got a. I shared a Instagram short. Sometimes I just share music on my what are they called? Not reels. They're called stories. There's a music that I'm watching on a short. I'll share it to a story, and I got a thing that it wasn't allowed to be viewed, and it listed off a ton of countries, and it was a Prince one that was on Instagram anyway. You know, it's like I'm sharing from Instagram to Instagram. It's not like I'm sharing from some other platform to Instagram. And they're telling me,
Yes.
But if you go to a personal account, they leave your tools alone. If I go to a professional account, so that like if I wanted to stream this to Instagram, I have to have a professional account, which is just a matter of clicking a button. It doesn't cost anything. It does on Twitter, which is ridiculous. I won't pay for a verified Twitter account. Even though I hear it's good to stream there, that you can pick up some knife people. I'm not looking to pick up knife people necessarily. I like you people. I like the fact that were you in the honey bucket last night when the officer came and legitimately used the honey bucket?
Yeah.
That was kind of funny. I wonder if he dropped the kids off at the pool or just took a piss. I would have thought he'd have pulled over and gone outside to pee if you're in Washington.
It was awful quick for a deuce.
If you eat like I do, dude, and you eat a lot of greens, you can drop little rabbits out and be done.
I don't partake in the quickness of that. I enjoy my free time.
Yeah, that a lot of people do. A lot of people, it's reading time. Yeah, maybe he did a fast diarrhea. Maybe that was one of those things where it was emergency stop. But he seemed to always be friendly to Stevie. But I think it's all
Yeah.
legal what Stevie's doing up there.
Well, mostly.
I think all of it is, isn't it?
Well, I wouldn't think sitting there doing that and then driving home would be.
I don't think he's doing enough. You know, it's kind of like sitting there drinking a beer, right? I would think with the amount, which seems to be kind of small that he consumes, it might be like drinking a beer over an hour and a half.
I don't think he'd want to test it.
No, I'll tell you what I don't think he'd want to do is drop to Canada with like a big satchel and forget that he left some bullets in his pocket.
That's hilarious.
That's just scary, dude. That's scary on so many levels.
I talked to him this morning.
Oh, is he traveling?
Yeah. He had a good flight. Got into Wisconsin.
And he opted to not go into Green Bay, right? The much racing. He flew into
Yeah, that's why I said well it was also cost more to fly into Green Bay, but I said, why don't you go pay him a visit? And he's like, well, I could do that, but he's I think he's kind of halfway in between wherever he flies into. He's gotta still drive it.
He was going to like Sheboygan or somewhere.
Yeah.
An interesting name. But I saw his post from this morning where he had like a triple latte and he must have been sitting at the Starbucks in the airport, or maybe it was, I don't know if he had a layover or not. He probably flies late. Straight through. He probably doesn't have to get on Flippin's flights like I always do. If you ever fly out of Huntsville and you don't drive to Nashville or Birmingham, you're hosed. You're always switching in Atlanta or New York if you're going out west. All kinds of weird places.
Hey, Kathleen.
Never a good flight. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Yeah, it seemed to be kind of an unobtrusive honey bucket visit. And that is, of course, what the honey bucket is for. It's good to see it being. What's up, Harriet? Good day, good day. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to Javon's Insomniac Sit and Spin. Where we sit and spin and talk about not? Talk about lives. Can I show you this pretty ugly knife, Kyle? This MR1.
No, what the hell is that?
It almost cost me my thumb at Blade Show.
Yeah.
More designed to be used like that, which I would think would be pretty devastating.
Malcolm's our resident travel agent.
Dancing, what's up? Sheboygan is about 1.5 hours from Green Bay. That's probably correct. Yeah, I'm not very good at world geography, but I'm better than Matty is, because I noticed that Matty greeted Gareth as his South American brother. And if I'm not mistaken, Gareth's in South Africa, which is quite a ways from South America. I don't think you can drive there.
That's a running joke.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
All right, I thought Matty was just being Matty. My bad. Sorry, Matty, if you're in here creeping. Not that you are. You're probably eating with the fam, doing what you should be doing. Some good old family time. So, Kyle, did you say you've been taking a break on sharpening? I've got mine set up for my, what's up, SC Knife Monkey? Good evening, buddy. Welcome, welcome. Hang out while we talk about knives. I've got mine set up for my 4-inch knees. I took my 150 Atomi or whatever to Jeff, and I've told him just about to flip that fucking knife and just apex it as close as he can. Give up on it. Or I think he's gone for a secondary bevel now.
He's just going to need to get it reground here shortly. Keep it up.
He needs to just send it to you. You probably don't want to see that motherfucker.
Well, I mean, it depends on how bad it is. There's only so much I can do with it, but I can fix it my best. But if he dropped it back so far, then the only thing you could do would be send it in for a regrind.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I don't know anything about it. To me, it was. I think he's an idiot for not realizing. I even told him now because he said, "Well, I learned that I could do a micro bevel by adjusting my thickness compensator." I said, "Dude, you should have just raised the back of the 360 and adjusted your angle a little bit. You know, throw another few degrees on it and apex that bitch right in the center." I mean, how often is he going to be stabbing it into stuff?
I don't know. It just
It's frustrating. I get it.
should have never taken it that low to start.
No, and he should have opened his book, because if he'd opened his book, he'd have realized that he could have raised that angle. I told him that, but it was just kind of in passing, showing him all the different stuff he could do. But I said, "Look, here's the book. It's even in this little plastic case that it came in, because I never used it. I used the videos." But he had to figure it out himself. What's up, Maddie? Your ears must have been burning, buddy. I'm checking to see if my stray cat is out there. I've got a stray cat that comes around and eats this soft cat food that none of the other cats will touch. And she comes out there and just is flat and just will eat that and look in the window. Yeah, Maddie, I was thinking that you were calling Gareth South African brother, or South American brother, because you thought he was I was giving you a geography fail comment, and Kyle told me it was a running joke, and I felt like an idiot. And I didn't apologize, but now I am.
I wouldn't apologize. It's Marty.
Yep. But Marty tees himself up so much normally, where the least I can do is correct the record when I need to stand corrected. Speaking of correcting the record, not that y'all care, but Steel Toe has a court appearance tomorrow for his disseminating erotic images to his buddy that he did on his live stream. And all was well until yesterday, when he was served an order of violating his pre-release agreement. They have an investigator that I guess does something that just, I guess, analyzes his shows, and if he talks about the said person or whatever, and then reports to the court on how well he followed the terms of his pre-release, which was just the time leading up to this. So he violated that, and he's been telling his audience that, oh, that's all good because he's getting released tomorrow anyway, and his deal's already been set up. Well, he hadn't been sentenced. So now these people that also watched, had to have shows, have flown out there to watch to see if he gets put into cuffs tomorrow afternoon, like 10 o'clock. Those of you that are interested, it's on. We'll be streaming.
Okay, so this just got me thinking. Speaking of flat scale titanium, well built Chinese knives, this at $140 is better than any concept I've seen.
That is the best made knife. I think I even said in my video, because my buddy A to Z has one that I've seen. I think they did it kind of like the same reason Alex did the his little shark, kind of as to show it could be done. I think that's an amazing value, and they've been popping up on their site for that price. So they haven't been raising the price, even though they could, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think that's something that he's interested in doing. Cheeto.
No, I don't either. I think it's a great, because I noticed they've been dropping some sea otters and stuff too.
That's the MBK Sabertooth.
It's an amazing knife. S90V, unique looking. I mean, it's a Laconico, but it's a unique looking Laconico because the blade is kind of inspired. Not really a Ray Laconico, is it?
Well, he's done some stuff in the past, but that's a little more out there, but not recently. This one is a little bit different for him, but the reason why I really wanted this, because I'm a huge Laconico fan anyways. But it's also large, and he typically makes smaller knives, and this is like a 3.5 to 3.7 inch blade.
Right. And it's a good canvas.
Yeah. I mean, this is typically a Laconico blade shape. That's a Rosalinda.
I used to have several. I had a Yorkie. I had several Laconico Kaisers in my collection that I gave away over the years. I was a fan of all of them, but they were all pretty much Kaisers. I think were my Laconicos. Maybe I had the warning the what was it called? The MBK warning
Old guard or a slayback?
slayback. That wasn't Laconico, or was it?
Yeah.
I had one of those. I traded that to Pocket Metal for a TRM Atlas that I really wanted.
Cheeto, don't like Ray or don't like MBK or what? Just out of curiosity.
Kathleen, just because I find it amusing. I find it amusing to watch grown ass men do stupid shit and then broadcast it and continue to be on stream, delusional, talking themselves out of their initial failures. I just think it's funny.
What's up, B Shady? What's up, Dan? Sorry I missed you guys.
Kyle, what is your favorite knife? Kathleen says.
Oh, that's tough.
You gotta have one that you go to.
Wait, time out. How is Cheeto going to say the Sabertooth looked boring compared to the Sea Otter? The Sea Otter is the most boring knife shape ever designed.
Maddie, I'm never in a salty mode, baby. I'm always just chilling.
Kathleen, probably.
If you ever see this guy up there, it shows you that I'm in a salty mood.
One of three knives, probably.
We're just chilling, baby.
I love Tantos, so, and I love Brian Brown design, so the Corvus is up there for me. If I'd like to get a custom, but not for custom money. Secondary is probably my Rook.
That Rook's a gorgeous knife. That reminds me a lot of the Jaeger, dude.
Yeah.
It probably came before the Jaeger, but it sounds very snappy.
It is. Well, I mean, there's compared next to a Jaeger.
Doesn't look the same anymore.
Yeah, it's different. And thirds, well, no particular order, and then the third knife would be my Hinder that I got fixed up the way I like it.
Your clips.
Yeah.
My number one would be my Field Duty EDC. My number two is probably this knife, which is my Mag 10 Knife Works EDW, which is a Colin McGuire custom. Awesome little AEBL Warncliffe slicer. And then I really like my my McNeese more now than I did a couple of days ago. I haven't put the video up yet. But this bad boy is on thick phosphorus bronze washer.
I wouldn't mind picking up a Dixon in the swerve mill padding pattern if they do that in the future.
It's a big knife.
Yeah.
With these thick phosphorus bronze washers, I've got them in. I ran them in my Buzz before I traded it. I have them in my little Civivi mini. What's it called? Dog it. My mini Buster. No, not mini Buster. My wee mini. What's it called? What's the Ben Banner wee?
Lander or
the wee.
The baby banner.
Yes, the banner and the baby banner. I've got it in my baby banter. But it in this knife right here, they've got a certain size that fits it perfectly. And I mean, it's just glassy.
Is that the 3 or the 3.5?
3.5.
I like that knife. You get a decent amount of blade for how small the knife is overall. Because it's not a big overall knife.
No.
The 3 is way too small.
Yeah, the 3 is kind of like the 3. The 3 in the Hinder is doable because of the choil, in my opinion, but the 3 in the Spartan is not.
Yeah, the 3-inch Hinder is way too small for me too.
But it's not way too small. It'll work for me more than this one will. This is the 3¼ inch mini Harsey. It just feels like a little knife. Whereas my 3-inch Hinders,
Cheeto.
even though I wish they didn't have the flipper, have that choil,
Yeah.
which
Cheeto.
works well for me.
Mine is on skiffs right now, which it needs it because since I got the blade reground, it's so much lighter that it doesn't have the good action that it used to.
Which is that?
My Hinder, because the blade's that much lighter that it doesn't want to drop nearly as much, so it needs to have a little bit more room there to be able to.
All of mine are on skiffs. I put skiffs in all my Hinders over the stainless bearings that come with them. I kept them all. Kept all the original.
We go grab it. I'll be right back.
But this is a 3-inch Warney. And I put a battle blue smooth matching tie scale. I think it's got the working finish, but it's got a choil where it fits my hand pretty well. My first Hinder that I bought from Brother Dark Gravity was this little guy right here, which is a battle black Skinner blade, kind of a rare knife. And very hard to find a scale for, but just a banger. I love this little guy. And again, the choil fits my hand like a glove. You seen this one, Kyle?
What's that?
This little battle
the
black Skinner that I got from Dark Gravity, my first Hinder.
Nice.
Well, at first I handled it at the Nashville Blade Show, which I'm sad to say I found out they're not going to be having anymore. But he told me like 2 weeks later to carry it to Blade Show, carry it for a week, and he thought I'd like it. And I did. He wanted to sell it. And at the time, he knew I was a knife junkie. So I carried it, but I really did fall in love with this knife. And the only thing is I've got a micarta scale on it now. You cannot, it's the only one of my Hinders I haven't been able to find a tie scale for. There's a cool one on Etsy that's like $195 that I can't justify. That's black and working finish kind of. It's a custom scale. It's not a Hinder scale.
Yeah, so that's the drop shot on my Hinder. I mean, it still takes.
So that's, yeah. So you got to, let me look at that regrind. I forgot you had a thick regrind on it too. So it's just hollow. I mean, they leave the tip alone, or is the tip ground too?
The tip is reground, but it's flat.
Nice.
So it is a full compound.
That's gorgeous, dude. I love the bronze hardware, the black back with the. Yeah. Is that the battle bronze, or is this?
No, that's copper.
So that's the copper. Gotcha.
That's copper, and then all the hardware is tie, but Cerakoted, and then this side is the Cerakoted, but then the copper hardware, and then copper backspacers and the black clip.
Man, it looks sick, dude.
And then the copper tab.
Have you thought about really pimping it with a copper clip? When
black,
I kind of dig the black.
I thought about it, but I don't necessarily have any designs that I like, so I'd rather just keep it.
Relic? Yeah, that's a nice one, dude. Yeah, I've been enjoying my controversial knife.
I like the Eclipse a lot. It fits really well in the hand.
Have you seen this Zero Blade Play?
Yeah.
Tech.
Yeah, those I have no interest in Microtechs really.
I never have either. I traded for this one from my little knife maker guy after I handled it for a while. They are super sharp. I've got this one in my ram lock. I used to have no interest in autos, but I've kind of developed more. I was in the position that I was going to trade my Magic Whiskers to. He said this is the Protect they sell the least of all the Protects.
I like a lot of Protex designs, but I just wish they would do stuff in manual.
Well, there's allegedly doing all of their models in manuals.
Yeah,
That's
but
what
then
David
they
told
do
me.
everything in
Eventually,
button
that's the
lock,
plan. Huh?
But then they do everything in a button lock.
Well, that
Yeah.
works for me. Their button locks are solid. I've never had an issue spine whacking any of my button locks. I did have a little because I bought one of the first Mordaxes when they were just ProTech redid them, and I bought it at the Nashville Blade Show, and it had a little detent lash. Didn't really bother me, but then Jared did a video on it. I'd had it for a couple of years. I reached out to their customer service and said, "Hey, it's got a little bit of detent lash. My Malibu doesn't. Is this normal?" They're like, "Absolutely not. Send it back to us."
Yeah,
And they
I
sent
remember
me
bothering about that.
they sent me a new one, dude. Because my clip it was beat up. Some of the scales were beaten up on mine, and I think there was just something wrong with that initial batch.
Yep.
And they just hooked me up. But I just picked this one up yesterday. This is the TR3 integral, I think.
Yeah.
Manual. It needs to be reground. It needs a hollow.
So my issue with the designs are great. I'm just not a huge button lock fan in general. Some of them are okay, and it's okay to have one or two in the collection, but I'm just not a huge fan.
I'd rather
And
have a frame lock.
I just think that some of their designs are great, that they would look fantastic as either frame lock or liner lock.
A really nice frame lock, kind of like that Williamson that I saw, not Williamson, that one that was made by Marfione. It was a collaboration. It was an automatic, and I couldn't figure out how to close it. My buddy Tate had it at Blade Show. The guy, but it's got a real thick, kind of like an Emerson liner lock. I would think if they did some nice liner locks, that would be pretty cool. But their button locks do have a snappy detent.
Like, okay, for instance, the ATCF with Terzola.
Yes.
That's a gorgeous knife, but I would like that in either a liner lock or frame lock. I would want that in a button lock.
Right. I can understand why, because of the way that it's designed and what it's for. And it would probably be better as a liner.
The same thing that was the newish version, Cam something or other.
Yeah, I did a video on it that's gotten like 50 views. I did it yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one of the bougie ones though.
I didn't see that, but I love that design. I think it's gorgeous.
Dude, and that's like Shane told me that was their first design, and it was real sluggish to start out with, but they brought it out as a custom. So it's got a little walnut burl in it, and it's got a Chad Nichols ladder Damascus blade.
Ooh.
Dude, it is so snappy. Check the video I put out yesterday on it. Give me 51 views.
Sorry,
yeah,
I don't watch content. That's why I didn't know you made it.
No, it doesn't matter. It's just a cool knife, and it's got a mosaic pin. They've got two of them at Knives and More. So if it's something you like, call them. They'll work something out with you.
Drinkwater, I agree, but it's also a Fox.
What was that?
They made a ATCF.
Oh, the Fox. See, I don't have a problem with Fox knives. The ones I've handled. D-Metal, my first one had button lock or button stick. But it literally, this one, my second one doesn't, but it literally worked out. And I think from what I've heard, and this one doesn't have any lock stick, it's just not as droppy, but the button stick or lock stick does work itself out. I know it did in my first one, my smooth Malibu.
Having a little bit is not a bad thing. Like it's actually probably preferable, but I like, I've got one right now, currently one button lock left. A Mordax, which have you seen that one before? It's the middle.
Oh, you got the nice Mordax.
But it still feels, I don't know, something about it. I love this knife. I love the design, ergonomics. It's great.
You'd rather it be a liner or
yeah, something just speaks to me. Like I'd much rather have it a little bit more.
I wish it had thumb studs. Even though the flipper feels good and snappy, I'm just not a I don't get my rocks off flipping a knife anymore, even though this one light switch is great and push button is great.
And that's I'm weird when it comes to that. I don't mind flippers. I like flippers over certain studs, but I still prefer studs over holes probably.
Well, I've grown to appreciate studs over holes, but some Spyderco holes you can get the right tension out of, but a lot of holes you're kind of having to work for the friction, right?
I guess the issue for me is if it's designed to be the detent is designed around one mechanism, I'm cool with all three options. If it's designed to have multiple deployments, then I want something that's going to be a little more sturdy, like a stud or a flipper, than a hole. Just because the multiple deployments, you can't get the tension down right for all the deployments. What about thumb discs?
Thumb discs I don't mind, but I have a hard time like with my I think my only thumb disc knife, I might have two. I think I gave one away. One of them is my A100 mini that you sharpened.
Yeah.
And it's not a good example because it's hard to reverse flick. The other one was hard to reverse flick, which is stupid, but it's just kind of what I like. So, like, for example, this Slim Midi, where I can't get the whole hot dog down the highway because it doesn't go all the way through, but it's got a sharp enough ledge that I can easily grab. To me, that's just about perfect.
My issue with thumb discs, like even on this one, I just need it to be a little bit bigger so it grabs. Because like with the way that this one, there's still not a lot of purchase there, so you can miss it pretty easy, even on the reverse.
How's it slow roll? Not really well because it's got a strong detent.
Yeah, it's got a strong detent. It doesn't, yeah. But I like. Let's see, I'm missing it there because I can't get my finger in there. But if I push my finger down to get it, then it fires out. But you really got to dig it in there. So
a good example is the thumb studs on like a TRM, and I know this versus the hole, just because you kind of got to reach back for the hole. Whoops. I'm not doing it good because it's under camera. I'm gonna end up scissoring my finger. But anyway, I think the studs just work better on a knife like this, even though I don't know how it would work with a wide hole or a ledge. But I'm not a big thumb flipper, but there's some knives I do like thumb flip. There's some knives that you can only really thumb flick, like my Quiet Carry Waypoint is a kind of a thumb flick only knife. And a lot of them, they have natural detent off the thumb flick.
And I should have prefaced that by saying, if I like a flipper, I like a flipper with a strong detent. I don't want one that I can just baby out. I want it to fire with a.
I'll tell you, have you had any Brian They Do flippers?
I've held some, but I don't own any.
It is a unique. It's some kind of interesting. I don't know the mechanism behind it.
It's the D10.
It's one of the and it's got this really unique flipper kind of bird beak coming out of it that your finger just lays in. But this is one I traded with Paul Mills for, and it's got a amazing snappy flipper detent. And that's where this knife got me into getting into again some knives that were flipper only, like this Mr. design. Got a real low profile flipper. It's a flipper only.
I like a lot of his designs. He's a cool kid.
Mihai, is it Mihai or Mila?
Mihai.
Yeah, he talked me out of. I was going to buy the Cypher D because I had the Cypher first and I really liked it. And he said you really ought to try the Zero.
The Zero's cool design.
It's a very cool design. It's a great gentleman's carry. When I was working, I carried it a lot. But I think I'm glad I didn't get the Cypher D, but it's just a neat design. And he's got another one coming out in an Axis style lock that is my least favorite lock, probably. But I'm kind of curious to see how they do it because he's designed some really cool stuff, in my opinion.
I agree. The oh, you were starting to talk about what the hell was I going to say? You're talking about the
I was talking about
Brian Ado. I think he does.
something
I'm
with
not mistaken.
the
It's flat detent balls.
Let me see. It's something Brian.
Yeah, I think he does the flattened detent balls is what gives that unique feel.
Knife. Start by design. Let's just go there and listen. Innovative design, blah, blah, blah. I guess he's still making a bunch of custom knives, huh? Or has he just not updated his website in a long time?
Yeah, Mills, the flattened detent nub.
Oh, yeah, he makes that wicked one.
No, that's the arch nemesis.
Yeah, that Metal Complex swears by.
I mean, it's cool for what it is.
Go to the production knives. Apex, that was kind of a turd.
That was a huge turd.
The Mini Tempest, great. Micro Evo, too small. Typhoon. Some of these.
I like the
SPD integral detent. So it's called an integral detent on all these models. What would be a Sharp by Design integral detent? Let's see if.
Well, it's a flattened detent nub is how he gets that feel. But I like that Evo Typhoon. That one came out. I like the one that did that aspirated one that had the holes in it.
One of the this one here?
No, they did it in the handle. That's
it was a production?
Yeah.
Oh, you like this one, the Apex?
No, keep going down.
The Void?
Going. Nope, keep going. The next one, Evo Typhoon, that one. Nope. Yeah, that one. I don't think if you click on it, they're loading pictures or not, but
oh yeah, this one right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is the one I've gotten a drop point. Yeah, interesting. The detents do feel interesting. I'm not taking it apart and really checked it out. I had the Tempest too, the Mini Tempest. I think I traded that with Paul. I had the Bowie. And that's a knife that I didn't realize it, but I never filmed a review on. I owned it for like 2 years. I think cat came and ate that food. I think it did. Yeah, you got that. And you got the Hail Mary and Z-Wear. B-Shay, let me know when you let those go. Dude, the fixies, the fixies are the way to go. For me. I'm a big fan. And I carry them, like I said, I've been carrying this little, I'll need to take it out of my pocket because I will fall asleep with it in there. This little guy is small, but it is so handy. I just carry it in my back pocket. And it's a killer.
I'll say another unique feeling opening mechanism via flipper is the Oser kickstop.
Yes, I will agree with that. And I will agree. I've heard and not experienced on the Chavez. I've experienced it on the Oser. What's that one called? The Jared Oser?
The F22.
F22.
That's a great knife.
I reviewed that. It was very good. And I've heard on the Chavez that the kickstop does not feel as fluid.
The Chavez kickstop's a piece of shit.
Okay, I've heard something like that.
Well, and it's not only because of the action on it, because of the size of the blade, but it's also, if you look at it, the worst design plunge grind known to man.
Well, I did not check the Chavez ProTech Auto, but I was impressed by it. Had the most kick of any ProTech I've seen. I'll probably review it this weekend.
More than the runt, even?
I think so, man. It's the full 229 size. I thought it was going to be smaller.
Dude, that runt hits so hard.
It does hit hard, and the SMG hits hard too, but you can't find them hardly anymore. Check that out, dude.
Yeah.
See that front? That's a 60-degree bevel, 30 per side. And then the bottom is just, I think, a 21, little warning.
Okay.
But this is they call it a nightshade reverse Tonto.
Hey, Michael. Hey, Matt. Welcome.
What's up, Matt? Yeah, they had that, and I think, hey, Michael, what's going on? I saw Tri-State reviewed one of those just the other day. Let me pull it up.
Was it another like one of his blue label ones, or is it something different?
Yeah, it's. I'm not sure if it's a blue label, but it's I don't know who's the OEM, but let me see. Tri-State. Here, share this. If y'all aren't following Tri-State, which I'm sure you are, give them a follow. All right, go to videos. It's called
Jamaica.
how long of an ad
luxurious and it's
with?
adventurous.
If I have to watch another one, that's if you ever watch one of my ads and it's longer than like 5 seconds.
Peter Piper used the smart buying tools from Amazon Business and positively prospered.
Well, hello, YouTube. It's me, Tri-State EDC. Right there she goes.
Who made it?
Without the front.
Who made it?
A crossbar lock, shaft lock, if you will, on a Chavez.
Who? Really?
Nearly a little Chavez, because I don't know that one of these would even fit. I mean, it barely fit in that box, but anyway.
Maybe it's the size of a street.
I'm excited about this one. I think he might be too.
I can't believe they did a crossbar lock on it. That,
yeah, me neither.
Couldn't wait to throw that away.
It kind of goes against his
ethos. Crossbar lock, shaft lock, if you will, on a Chavez. What alternate timeline am I living in? I don't know. Does come with the skull clip.
Tri-State makes the best videos in terms of production quality.
With the poo-poo clip pre-installed. So we're going to address that issue immediately. Is running on bearings. Open size comparison. Pair 3.
So he's still doing the
that's nice. Good acoustics.
clips to
Sounds
the
like shaft.
forehead.
They all sound the same. No matter blade stock. So I'm betting you she'll cut.
What?
So you're still doing these clips or the screws to the clip, forehead clip?
It looked like it. Let's go back and see. Because he was about to install it. I don't think he ever did, though, because it looked like he... Yeah.
What's up, Steven? What's up, Gareth?
Oh, we're in. We're in. Now it's a Chavez. Now it's a Chavez.
Clips in the head. But anyway, $80 Chavez. I mean, it looks like it's coming from Chavez. How's it made? What's going on, Gareth? Good to see you, brother. What's up, Stephen Wallace? Howdy, man. Who else are we miss coming in here? Every time I'm on a back screen, I forget everybody. Matt, what's up? Yeah, it does look amazing. I'm not a huge fan of crossbar locks. However, I think they're great beginner locks. They're great for locking up and being a reliable lock. I think if you're not a detent snob, they're great. And some of them have good detent. So it's just not my favorite type of lock. It used to be. I've got a bunch of Benchmades that shows how much I liked them. I love them.
That's a strange choice for Ramon to go with crossbar lock.
I think crossbar lock equates to value, dude. I think there's something about, if you look at all the knives that are coming out in crossbar locks and the prices of them, there's got to be a correlation.
But it's just, okay, so if if you look at what happens every 12 to 18 months, it's just a new fad. There for a while, everyone was doing butt locks. Then everyone started doing the top liner locks. Then it was prior to that, it was frame locks, and well, then no liner locks, and then bolster locks. Everything goes through waves of what is the new fad thing. There hasn't been much innovation when it comes to that. And some of it doesn't need to because it doesn't fail. So why change it? So I'm not a fan of crossbar locks either. I like having a snappy action as far as detent, but for those who enjoy them, they're great.
Yeah, and they're very easy to deploy. And I think, like when you see that Geo knife that came in from China that had like milled titanium rock scales and an M390 blade for $120, that had bearings and a really good crossbar lock. It makes you wonder why some of the Benchmades are still a struggle. Why they haven't kind of upped some of the ways to make theirs a little better, smoother.
Because they don't have to.
Right.
I mean, when it comes down to it, if the sales are there and you don't have to re-up and change everything in your processes, then why do it?
But like back in the old days, this Mini Loco has one of the best crossbar locks. Even though it's a hole, it would be better if it had studs. And they just don't, none of them feel like this, except this one.
I'm not a fan of crossbar locks, but I tell you, possibly the worst crossbar lock ever made. Kunwu.
I hate the, what's it called? The X lock?
X-Tau.
Yeah, the X-Tau and I think I've got proof. I even tried to do magnet mods on them. Now, what I will say is, see how they did that little pivot on the Dixon? They did that just in reverse, which makes so much more sense, because if it was in reverse, your finger would catch right at the peak, and you have, like on the Dixon, a lot more blade friction. And this thing trying to overcome, now it's smooth. It's very smooth, but it just doesn't leave you a lot of wow. And this is a great knife. They made this in a fixed blade for like $130 in that, what was it called? Not vanadium. Yeah, it was vanadium, I think. Or Vandus.
I won't support anything from that company.
Why are you a hater?
Well, for a lot of reasons. One, Sergio's kind of a dickhead.
Don't know him, except he's if I'm not mistaken, he's my countess's boyfriend, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I know that you're biased because of that. But
so he just gets a point. So if I was doing a blade battle, he would get 1 point for there. What's he done that's douchey? Just his cocky, kind of like the
no, customer service and shit too. How he's
is it him only? Is he the kind of like a Kevin type figure? And I'm not equating them because Kevin's customer service is excellent.
Right. Yes.
He's like one guy who's having them done.
Correct, from my understanding.
Okay.
But the main issue I have with them is how they're affiliated with their parent company. They have a secondary company that sells clones.
Now who is this parent company, and how does that work? So Kunwu's just the brand, right?
Correct. Well, that's Sergio's brand.
But he had Metal Complex's knife made, allegedly.
Correct. But they also have a secondary, and I'm not sure who owns who. It could be Kunwu owns this other company or vice versa.
Doubtful. It's probably, I would think, if Sergio is a Serbian guy, and he might not be, but I would think he's probably the brand Kunwu. So they might be. Would he have any control over what that parent company's doing?
They make those Jaful clones.
So they definitely make the Jaffuls. So would Sergio, he's chosen them for an OEM, is it possible that everybody's associated with somebody who makes clones? I don't know.
To a point, yes. If you're dealing with over there, yes. But from my understanding, they're like someone had sent an idea via email. They wanted to get a knife OEM'd or how do I phrase it? Potentially licensed. And
by Kunwu.
And they said we can't do that because it's a conflict of interest with our parent or with our other company. And it was a basically testing them to see what the ability they would do with clones. And
Kunwu knives. Here, keep going.
So there definitely is a connection there, and I just don't support.
All right, does this sound?
Period.
I don't either, and I don't know if you didn't see my video today, but we dealt with a clone down at my local knife shop. How they deal with Benchmade clones. But so AI on Google says that Kunwu Knives is part of the Ironfly Knives Group, which focuses on crafting purpose-built pocket tools. Is it Ironfly? Possibly.
I'm not sure the names because I wasn't the one, but I was privy to hearing about the email. So that's, and I don't want to put everyone's business out there, but I definitely know that they would not take on certain signs because of that. So,
well, I'm curious. Let's see here. Here's Knife News says they entered the market in 2019 with the Orion. Let's see if it says.
That's a sad thing because originally when they came out, they were doing some cool stuff, and they also were doing some cool steels and doing them fairly well. And then to turn around and have all that, it's just like.
I wonder what Ironfly. Let's go Ironfly Knives. Ironfly Knives.
I don't support any clones or any promoters of clones.
All right, this is evidently who they're affiliated with. But I don't know, they could be somebody else too.
Yeah, there's a lot of behind the scenes things working there.
You never know. I mean, I did notice that EDC, EMP for EDC was on Instagram today with a video, which I thought was cool. Padre is a great knife. I would say it has better detent, even though it's kind of like my Evo. It's probably my favorite Kunwu, and it will cut your thumb off too. That's ramen without trying. I would like the Compadre because this is kind of a big knife, but it's a full-size knife that cuts really well. And he's done some knives that I think are really cool. That A to Z's got, like the Django is a cool knife. The Django, is it Django? What was the one?
Yes, Django.
No, the Gringo. The Gringo is the one that has a neat grind.
I'm not saying that they don't do cool designs and stuff, and I'm not saying that they don't do good with their steels, but as a company, I would never trust them. I can't do business with them. But that's a me morals thing. Everyone has their own opinion on that.
No, and that's fair enough. Fair enough. And I think a lot of people, we've seen that if you send designs over there, they're going to be copied. And then you see that knife companies over there will buy like Oz's and Chavez's or get them somehow to make them and recreate them to where I was talking to John at Knives and More, who is pretty much he can spot a fake Benchmade or fake knife from miles away. He's been doing it for over 40 years, but he got stuck with a 3 1/4 inch Chavez or Chris Reeves Sabenza that he ended up selling to a buddy for $50 that he should have destroyed it. He said,
yeah.
It was such a good clone.
Yeah. And you know who makes those?
Like probably that company?
No. Some of the best Sabenza clones over there, or Chris Reeve clones, are made by Kevin John.
Kevin John, which is who?
CKF.
Really? Because he was saying that the only way you could tell it was a clone was when you took it apart, something about the washer pocket. because he compared it to others. He said it wasn't anything on the surface level that you could tell. Nothing on the blade that gave it away. He didn't do an HRC test or run it through a spectrometer, but he said if you looked at the washers, there was something different about the washer design that made him think, "Oh fuck, this isn't legit." And then he sent it to Chris and Tim and found out it wasn't legit.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate his desire to potentially just get rid of it and take it off the market by throwing it away, but I mean, people do what they want to do with their stuff. So
yeah, he had that Benchmade that they bought in an estate sale that I did a video of today. That they just first they grind the Benchmade logo off it. They say since they don't have the right to put it on, we as Benchmade dealer have the right and the duty to take it off so nobody else sees it. And then they beat the hell out of it to show how the blade just came apart. Then put it in a vise, broke it in half. I mean, it was like in 20, 30 pieces when they were done with it.
yeah, Mills, that's the same one that I had. I had the full DLC Evo 3.0 barked.
Great knife.
That was a gorgeous knife. I just never carried it.
I carry this one quite a bit. I've got turned it into a user because I sharpened it and got a little slurry on it when I used to use wet stones.
Plus, the downside, like I like a lot of their designs and their collabs and stuff, and they're well made. But at the end of the day, I have a hard time paying that kind of money for a Chinese made knife.
Right.
I mean, at $700 for a Chinese made knife, more on some of them. It's just I can't do it. I mean, they're good quality knives, but just knowing the behind the scenes and the cost and everything else, what's involved with it, it's not, the value is not there to me.
They're the only thing is to me, it's kind of scary because of the way the blade comes down, and it will put a thunking on your thumb, no matter how careful you are.
Yeah, I mean, I close it sideways because it's stupid to try to drop it on your finger.
Agree with that. Word on that. Try to see how long he can bounce off the thumbnail, and he can shoot up short. I prefer the Padre too. Down at the local knife store here in Huntsville, they've got an X Padre, and it's as shitty as you would think if you don't like the X lock. But it's a Padre that doesn't have the frame lock. It has the X lock instead. Okay. The cat always gets restless around midnight.
What it comes down to,
what's
guys, is it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks as long as you're happy. That's all that matters.
Absolutely.
But I say just have all the info before you make a decision.
Oh, you got an Instagram. I don't know if I've seen that new Brian Winters.
What's up, Yoko? I didn't see you come in. I tell you, the weird thing about that whole situation was Brian Winters is a mad genius, but like his stuff kind of came in and was like a hot fad, and then you didn't hear about anything from him in a while. And some of the ones come out afterwards were kind of, I wouldn't say a flop, but they weren't nearly as.
I just wonder if he didn't have them made and stuff, because he did really cool. I saw some cool ones at Blaze Show, for example. I don't know if that's it.
Tell me how to live.
Ooh.
What was that?
What the fuck is that thing? Excuse my language, sorry.
Keep it under wraps. The X folder featuring a patented X lock.
That's gross.
But it might work, dude.
I don't care. It's gross.
It's got a seatbelt cutter, or is that just part of the mechanism?
I don't know.
But you gotta give it A for innovation.
He's innovative, but that's gross.
Look at that. Look how he opened it from the back. Did you see that?
I don't care. It's still gross.
But look, it looks like it doesn't open all the way up, and then it shuts and it's locked out.
It's like putting lipstick on a pig.
That's true. You don't like it, you don't like it. What do we got here? Factors. Yeah, I mean, I guess they're still.
But he came in like a storm and then just kind of fell off, and people weren't really talking about him.
Dude, when I was falling in love with his shit, he was making stuff like this. Well, that's a knife, so that's not really a good example. But he was making those little things that shot metal darts. Do you remember that? He was making little things that were like guns that had some kind of CO2 in them or something. They would shoot metal darts. He designed some interesting stuff, that's for shiz.
Mills, you talking about the Factor or the Mirage? The Mirage came out after the Factor. Yoko, you ain't putting me in no water hazard, son. I'll feed you the gators.
I'll hit out of the water, man. As long as I've got like 2 feet, 1.5 feet, I'll chop right through that shit with my loft wedge.
1.5 feet? That's up to your waist.
I know. But I've got a weird swing, dude. It's not orthodox.
What the hell's a loft wedge?
Just like I got a more open face than a pitching wedge. I don't know what you'd call that.
A sand wedge?
It's almost flat. Well, no, it's between a sand and a pitching. Lob. What I call it?
Loft?
Yeah, lob. Lob wedge.
Lob wedge is 60 degrees, 62 degrees, 64 degrees, 50.
And pitching's what?
Pitching wedge is 46 to 48 typically.
And which one's going to hit it higher? Is shorter?
The lob, yeah.
Yeah, so I take the lob into the water and hack through some turtles.
So, you got pitching, gap, sand, lob. That's your 4 wedges.
Yeah, I only carry 3. I carry Big Bertha, short stem driver. I got a 3-wood, I forget what it is. And I've got a fairway wood. And I've got a 9-iron. 7. I don't carry a 3 iron. I don't have much use for what would you call it, a high faced iron. A lot of people do. When the shaft gets longer, which just what she said, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult for me to control.
Yep.
So I think I carry a 4. And I'll carry a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
I was cleaning some stuff out in the garage this week and ran across one of my bags and thought about doing some restoration stuff.
On your clubs?
On some of my old ones, yeah. Just for giggles.
Yeah, I mean, I would think if you and I remember my dad went through a phase where he was restoring, and he's got some old antique decoys because he used to be a duck hunter, and he would like carve some recreations of antique decoys, but he would get these antique decoys that had been partially restored. And some of those things are up there in dollars. But if you got a hobby with something like that, he'd stay out in the garage for hours fucking with that shit.
Yeah, I just thought about it'd be fun to do different finishes or bring something back. I'm not gonna sell any of my stuff. I don't really care. Just sit there and collect dust.
That's how I am about my guitar stuff. I've got
at this point it's basically like trophies. I'm not gonna get rid of the stuff.
I've got kind of an emotional connection to my musical stuff, even though like my pedal board I hadn't opened in 2 years, but it's shit that I don't want to, even though it's be worth to have that cash, not as much as having the stuff.
Right. I mean, a lot of my stuff is from like my playing days. It's a little bit older now, so it's not worth anything as far as like significant value, but it's sentimental. It's worth way more than that.
It's got a lot of memories attached to it if you played with it.
Yeah, so I'd rather just keep them in my bags and let them sit there. Maybe make a
Do they make a titanium frame lock version? I saw a titanium button lock at Knives and More of the Mordax. The only ProTech I saw that had the liner lock or the frame lock, I can't remember what it was called. It's just, let me find it.
You know that credenza that Brant Keeps all his stuff in, the shows off.
Yeah.
I need to make it like one of those, but a bigger version, just to put my bags and all my stuff into.
For your to show your stuff off.
Yeah.
Well, that'd be something to design and build. That'd be a good hobby or project.
Yeah.
Where is this damn thing? I had it on here.
Malcolm, I got out of the business and then I played for a little bit after I stopped playing professionally, and then just kind of fell out of love with it, and I haven't taken up. I haven't played in a while.
If you fall out of love with it, it's
I still occasionally, once or twice a year, I'll still give some lessons to some buddies or whatever, but like I don't go out and play. I'm not active in it. I don't really.
When was the last time you played around just by yourself or with others?
Probably 6 years.
I'm trying to find this knife. It's a Protect that I found at that knife store and took pictures of it when I was down there. But fuck, I don't know how far back it was. I'm just scrolling. I think I'm getting closer though. I must be getting closer.
Todd, you know me well enough. That's not how I would do it. But yes, you could do it that way. But if I did it, it would be walnut.
I love this knife. Check this out. My buddy doesn't want to sell it. But we were at Knives and More yesterday. Have you seen a custom what's it called? A Olamic
whippersnapper?
No, it's called
Busker.
The big one.
Isn't it the Busker?
No, it's called something else. It's a big one.
247?
No, it had a name to it. It was a name a couple of other Olamics. Like they have 2 or 3 other names I've heard.
There's those two, the Wayfair.
Yes, it was a big Wayfair, full-size Wayfair custom for $550. It was not a production one. And it was A to Z would probably have picked it up, but he had this is a knife, I think. No, that's not the knife he jacked up. He didn't like that it was carbon fiber. It had blue titanium liners, but it was carbon fiber handles with an inset liner lock. This knife right here, dude, that's the finest knife I've ever experienced. That's that Cortex XL.
Yeah, I want one.
Listen to it.
That isn't. I don't get excited about knives, but that is a knife that I would like to own.
It's a beautiful knife, and each one's numbered.
Yeah, even though it goes against my. So like I like his designs a lot. His fit and finish is phenomenal. I just wish he would get his steel done better. But outside of that, he makes a fantastic.
How's his steel done? Is it not?
It's just a little soft.
I think I'm getting close to this. I remember when I did this picture first, I made an accidental swastika. You remember that? And some people were commenting on it, and I was like, oh my God.
People freaking out.
This dude I pulled up the other day, well, not the other day, like a year ago, and he was in my yard.
What's up, Crispy?
He's about 3 feet tall, eating a squirrel. But I'm getting close to this Protect, and y'all might know the name of it. I don't.
Crispy Critter. What's up, buddy?
Come on, damn it. I posted a lot of shit.
That's the benefit of not posting much. It's easier to find stuff.
Yeah, that's true. I share a lot of stuff, post a lot of stuff. But I don't post, like, I do 3 or 4 times a week. I don't post.
Speaking of that post you just went across, have you heard from John yet?
he posted. I've not heard from him. He's not DM'd me back, but he's made a couple of like talking posts about drops. He's alive and smiling.
That's just strange.
That's a good knife that they're having another pre-order on. That Sparrow, what's it called?
Strix.
Strix.
It's a cool knife. It's just pretty pricey.
What is it, like $380?
Yeah.
Let's pay homage to Countess Anne's.
Damn it, Javon.
I was just curious about looking at Satu's grind. Hippie. What the fuck? I don't know what that was. Here it is. Can you see that knife? The Protect Integrity.
Yeah.
And then if you do this. Hippie, what'd you just trash? What'd you trash, baby? Pretty cool.
Yes, Ground Fog. You did it right.
Pretty cool. But that's kind of like the same blade profile I think I've got in my pocket.
Yeah, that's an interesting design.
Yep, it's the same. It's the same as I've got in my pocket. Blade style. It's just got a frame lock instead of a button lock. And this knife, I want to say, was $250. I traded for it, so I traded a Freak for it.
It's not bad.
No, I wasn't carrying the Freak. I could have probably sold the Freak for a little bit more, but
yeah. But would you rather have?
Huh?
Yeah, but it comes down to what would you rather have?
Another knife.
Right.
Now it was kind of a drag that I've kind of done an overview on that knife. I borrowed it one weekend and kind of did a show and tell of it. So maybe I'll do a more thorough long-term review down the road. But I was looking at some Microtechs, and I have a hard time right now supporting Microtech. I don't know why. I've got a bad vibe that they're in the wrong in that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why you would think that they don't. I mean, that's like 100%.
I don't know why Gavin, after meeting him at Blade Show, I told you that story. I'm probably ad nauseum, but I just don't think anything about him is dishonest. He looked, kind of bummed out and very thankful that I took the time to say, hey, dude, from what I can tell, most of the knife community seems to have your back. He goes, well, that means a lot to me. But they've got some cool out the sides, and I like that Annex. It's made by Reich.
Yeah, that's a decent knife. I've held one of those, had one in.
What is it, M390 MK or whatever?
Yeah, it's just M390. There's nothing special about it. Speaking of, if you guys haven't seen it, you need to go watch Sharif's video he dropped.
I was about to say the same thing. What is what's the verdict? Is it clickbait title, or does he feel that way?
No, 100% feels that way.
Well, I would agree. I mean, you just never know, right? I mean, I think M390, because to me, I'm a 20CV fan. I don't have a problem with S35 though, and I realize they're better steels. And I think his knife's probably the design of 2025. And Riot killed it, but his design is just impeccable on the Aurelia. It's S90, right?
MagnaCut.
MagnaCut. A Chinese MagnaCut. I wonder how well it is done.
I don't know. They claimed that they could do. He got it in writing. Spec sheet from them was going to be at 63. So
well, that's. I mean, again, I don't have a problem. Hey, when you get a chance, check out the Slippy, Jerry. Is it on your IG, buddy? I'd love to see it. Hold on.
Say he sent it to you.
Oh, he did. Let me go to my messages. Cool. Oh, dude. That is badass. Who made that? Jerry, the Shelby Knife Company. Dude, that's sick. Very nice, dude. Very, very nice. I don't know if y'all watched Shane's live last night, but there's a couple of changes to the fret that he's making that I drew and he made better.
You like it?
Oh, dude, I love it. I was going to pull it up. I think he did a post with it on Instagram.
Yeah, the thumb ramp changes that look dramatically.
Yeah, and I mean, he was so particular about. I mean, because I carried that thing all of Blade Show, and he just like, no, man, I just don't. Something doesn't feel right. I was like, hey, I'm with you. You know, like I said, I put it in your hands. Go here. Were you in Stevie's live?
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, that's right. I always forget, dude. You know me. I'm half asleep on the couch. So that's the old. Let's see, is that? That's the one I carried around, and that's the Thug. Maybe it's on the YouTube. On the YouTube. That looks good, man. I don't need to be looking at food. Let me go to YouTube. YouTube. Did that take y'all to YouTube with me?
Yeah.
All right. I never know. Oh no.
What?
My dude's live from Minneapolis.
Who?
The guy from that drama I watch. Here it is. Check this out.
Putting that brain rot in.
I'm just gonna mute that so it doesn't hurt everybody's ears.
Oh damn!
What?
I just saw I know Ryan Ellis was looking for M. Nandi. I just saw a brand new one go up, an older one. Just went up.
Reach out to him.
It just sold.
Oh.
Posted 36 minutes ago and already sold. It was a pretty good price point on that.
Here we go. That's it. Can y'all see that?
Yep.
I think it looks really cool.
Cheeto, you still here?
Or is fortunately known as Cheeto. That slip Jerry made is slick. How's it feel? It looks like it's good and subtle leather. Are you on Instagram, buddy? Let's see if I can find you. SKS. Let's see. I feel like we need a ghost party break.
Why is that?
Check this out. Have I made you listen to Ghost Party yet?
Yeah.
You didn't like it because you never got to the lyrics. You didn't get a chance. That's right. You were a hater.
I don't like audio stuff like that, but that's all right.
Those are nice. SC Knife Monkey.
Yeah, those are cool.
They're very cool. I'm gonna share your
That's some talent right there.
What are those little arch trays for $18 ship? Dude, I love your stuff. How come I don't know? Let me share that. Y'all go follow SC Nice Monkey. I'm getting ready to go back and do it because I'm not following. I don't think. 82 followers. That is chronically underfollowed.
You know that
I love the little monkey. Do this. I don't know why some things you can click on and you can share to your
Night Crispy, more.
Night Crispy. Love you, brother. I wonder why some things you can't share to your story and others you can, or is that a mobile thing?
I don't know. I'm not
Instagram. I'm not Instagram literate.
I don't do a lot of that whole stuff. I just go on, do what I need to do, and get off.
That's what I do bad is I take my pictures and do everything from my phone. That's why a lot of times I don't get in my Instagram messages except once a week. I mean, I'm chronically late replying to people. But it's a lot better than I do on my YouTube. I mean, I'm never in my YouTube comments, dude. I feel guilty.
I'm bad about posting. I use it more for messaging than anything.
You got a great price on it, $35. Y'all go check out SC Knife Monkey. The link is right here. I'm gonna pin it in the chat. That way it should stay up there the rest of the live, however long we're live.
You need to. I don't know if you've got one or not, but have you thought about putting up an Etsy store?
What's the advantage of an Etsy store? Just because a lot of people search there?
Yeah, I mean it's foot traffic versus trying to sell.
Yeah,
through
just let's go to Etsy. I know there are a lot of slips. I bought slips from Etsy. The Knife Monkey.
It's solely a foot traffic thing.
And I don't think it costs a lot. It's just a percentage thing, right?
I'm not 100% sure. I've not done it personally, so I don't want to.
But this is what came up when I searched. So there are a lot of definitely clip slips. All kinds of weird shit when you search. That shark knife needs to be mine.
Snag it.
What a deal. But it's funny how these things are listed and how the search terms come up.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, someone who knows the marketing side,
look, that's a felony.
The ability to have quality search engines on websites is horrible now. Like
Instagram's the worst.
I mean, just you go to anyone's website and it's like you never see what you're looking for. Like the search engines are horrible.
If I'm not mistaken, that is a pipe and a knife combination. i.e. a felony. Maybe that's not a. What is that?
Depends where you're at.
Decorative cool knife, handmade, hardened plaster, item shop, blah, blah. I don't know. Costs $22 to ship it. But yeah, there's a lot of different weird stuff. I know I bought these little I think if I go coffin slip, it'll show you the ones that I've got a couple of. They're really good. They vary in leather, but they're the same maker, coffin slip. They got a special little thing on them. Look, that's pretty cool. Not what I was looking for, but it's pretty cool. I mean, they got a lot of little knifey stuff. It was looked like this, but it had a different logo. There's a real coffin shit. I don't know how those titties got in there. I don't know how that got in there. What the? Hold on. Let's go leather. I need to add leather. Coffin leather slip. Knife. I'll put that word in there too. I don't need to be tempted by titties this late at night. Let me go to Taco Bell with just a raging appetite. It was EDC Leatherworks. Was this it? I don't think so. It looked kind of like that though. But you can tell they've got a lot of decent, and I've ordered some of these. Huh?
I was gonna say, I wish Iggy still had time. She made some cool stuff.
Now, the one that Pocket Metal's got from Iggy looks, it has the same kind of logo as that, but it's totally not nearly as good. Iggy's were awesome.
Yeah.
Iggy is an awesome person. It was great seeing her at Blade Show. And her son, where? Check that out, man. You can get a wooden casket for $400. That sounds like a deal.
Yeah.
I wonder how hard it'd be to turn that into a bed.
Well, I mean, you probably got plenty of room in that one.
Yeah, I would think so. I think I'd have leg room in there to kick around.
Plenty of room for activities.
But yeah, they've got all kinds of wacky stuff in Etsy. So that's a good idea. If you haven't thought about it, have a little Etsy store. I know Amsler Tools, who sells a lot of his stuff on, I know Scott at Aries, but Amsler Tools.
You know, Amsler got picked up by a couple dealers too. He was on it was either E-Knives or PBK. I saw his knives on.
Yeah, I mean, it's I'm sure it's on one of those. His Hurricanes.
A couple different models.
All right, here's the that's his new one right there. That's the Static and the Sprite. And they've got let me go to his store. So I've got a couple of Hurricanes, and I've got an Ion, which is this little guy, Pinion. This is a little chunk of Magna Cut. But my favorites are these little Hurricanes. You can get them in Warncliffs like that, or Tontos.
Well, Javon, I think we're starting to believe some people's getting.
Is it getting late?
Yeah.
All right, dude. Let me do this. Let me stop sharing.
Oh, there's Cheeto. Hey, Cheeto, are you looking for a sea otter?
Cheeto, artist formerly known. You gotta be shady. We're about to bail out of here, brother.
I didn't mean to cut you off, Javon. Just
Jerry,
I saw several people saying that they're taking off. So
crashing out. Here, the Shelby knife guy. We just looked at your slip, dude. Very strong. Did Cheeto get back with you? There he is. Not at the moment, Kyle.
All right.
Unless you're buying one and send it to him.
I'm not doing that. But I just saw one, so I was thinking.
Magpul knife. I know some drama about a Magpul knife that I'll keep under wraps. But I did see it on a live stream by the person who was allegedly affected by said partnership that never became a partnership that turned into a.
Yeah, but I know that there's, I don't want to phrase it, there's some appreciation for the other party, but there was nothing done wrong there business wise or ethically.
Yeah, I don't know that. I just know that the one party feels that there was. And again, I don't know the other party except that they're bigger. And
well, I know that the one party feels hurt by the scenario, but I don't think that nothing was written and papered, then I don't.
Right. But it still could have been kind of shady.
To a point, yeah, but that's business too. I mean.
Yeah, but when you've got to have, like, when you get to the handshake stage, yeah, everything needs to be written down, but there's got to be some trust somewhere in there, right? I mean, you shouldn't just take it to the closing table and then blow out the closing because you've got a short sale or some shit.
That's not how I would do it, but that's not how big business works.
I know. Hey, believe me, I get it.
Cheeto, just have one made. I'm sure
Couldn't Brian do something like that, or would you talk about have one blade made by Chris Reeves?
No, I was talking about from like either Satu or I don't know. Brian probably would not take that on, but Dave might.
You think? Yeah, I think Satu probably would take that on. I mean, I think that'd have to be a pretty tight tolerance knife. I know. How did Ryan get his with bearings in it? How did he get that mod made?
There are a couple people that have done those mods out there. I think AR Knife Works might have had the ability to do that. I don't know if Rec did back in the day. Yeah, Brian probably could do it, but I don't know if he's actually doing any reblades for those. If he did, that's probably a one-off thing for a friend.
Yeah, I'd reach out to Satu and Brian just to shoot them a.
You're better in that case. Not to take any business away, but I just don't think that you'd be into that.
Where is Satu and his and I bumped into him twice at Blade Show and didn't ask him, but what is I told him I figured he'd be doing knives, and he kind of thought that'd be great one day, but what is he currently working on for people? I don't think he's doing grinds anymore, is he?
No, I've not. Not Kathleen. I have not caught up.
Night, Kathleen.
With some of his recent videos, so I'm not 100% sure, but I know he did. He's done a couple of replays for people.
Does he just start with the blade like Shane would and beat it down?
Yeah, he just figures out what's going to fit and creates it from scratch to make sure it's going to fit in the handle, get it all his dimensions right, and then goes through that.
And couldn't you get one? Couldn't you get one from Chris Reeves?
You can, but it's a wait
How
list.
much? A wait list. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, wait list, and I think it's also like $250 maybe. So if you're paying that kind of money, I think I'd rather just
have it custom.
Yeah.
And if I know anything about Christopher Reeves' wait list, you're talking about years, not months. Or is it the same on blades?
I don't think the blades are nearly as long. Here, I can tell you. Give me a second.
Ground fog. I came up, then got the drop point for 150. That sounds like a deal. And I would think they would all be built to kind of a precise tolerance. Is the only reason I would say maybe that would be a one way to look.
Okay. If you do Tanto and Singo or drop point, it's 150. The polished drop point is 250. You have to send in the entire knife to get it.
So what's the wait time?
It's not saying right now.
It probably does when you get into the checkout.
Probably. Let's see.
I know a place that's peaceful and quiet, a place where animals play. It's called the forest, but every year we start forest fires. A careless match, a cigarette, and poof, fire. So the next time you're in the forest, be extra careful, okay?
If you knew it was me.
Did you find it, buddy?
All right, it's saying lead time for service is roughly 9 to 12 weeks after check-in.
Well, that's not terrible.
That's not the worst. Yeah.
But I would think if you went to Satu, you're looking at probably that much, but you might get a probably better heat treat. I just don't know how much work it would be for him, or it might even be a little more.
But also, you got to think if you send it back in, you're getting precise fit and finish as far as the fitment, because they got the jigs and everything ready to go. So that's not a bad deal, Cheeto. If you wanted just a third one to send it in to get a blade.
Yeah, and you might not have to have the blade if you send the handle in, because that's all you got. They might say that's all they need, right?
Yeah, it just said send the handles with it. It didn't say you had to send the old blade.
Yeah, I didn't get that, but it seems like it.
Yeah. Let me go back to that. I'll tell you.
Why you go back on start Ghost Party? No, I can't fast forward it though. Damn it. It's so good with the lyrics.
Okay, so here we go. It says a blade order must be placed before sending the knife. Do not send the knife until you've been notified that a blade is complete and ready for installation. So it sounds
interesting.
So it sounds like
they don't want the knife till they're ready to send it back to you.
Yeah, because they probably want to make sure they do any last minute fitment. Oh, wait a minute. Never mind. Hang on. That was what the service, that was the normal service thing, was 9 to 12 weeks. The Tanto is S45 Magna Cut, depending upon availability, stonewash, 9 to 12 month part order lead time.
For a year.
Only available for the Sabenza 31 and Kosier. Okay, so never mind. That's, yeah, so 9 to 12 months.
Yeah, I would look at other options at that point. Weeks are different. I mean, that's a lot of ghost parties.
Yeah, that yeah, but the good thing is, Cheeto, you wouldn't, if you did that, you wouldn't have to send your knife in for that entire year, just at the very end when it's ready. They're not holding your knife for that long.
Very true.
But
which movie are we talking about? That's one thing I'm not good at movie comments. But that Ghost Party is an AI generated song that this guy wrote lyrics for. One of the weird this alcoholic streamer that I watch. And the lyrics are so good.
No.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm just going to tell Paul the waiting list now for dealers is 6 years, not 3 years.
Yeah, 6 years is how long. That's why Knives and More doesn't fool with them much, because it's just not, he doesn't know where 6 years is a long time to forecast. Because I think you've got to also put in a sizable order, right? It's not just you order 3 or 4.
Yeah, I mean, to be a dealer, you probably have to have
hit a minimum.
Yeah, certainly.
That's something just if you guys are looking, or knife stores in your local area that are looking for TRM, I don't think they have a minimum.
But I also would assume that you're not paying for them until they're ready to go in 6 years. So it's not like you're sitting there
without the cash. You would hope not.
No, I mean, I don't think anyone would do that if that's the case. So no.
No, but do you think you have to put some kind of good faith deposit down, right?
Not till they go into production, because they never,
yeah,
I mean, they always sell out. So they just find it. I'm sure there's probably a waiting list for the people who want to get on that. I mean, if you wanted to be part of that and the next person didn't want it, then they would more than likely just hop on.
Todd, that's a good point. If you went to some websites or message boards that were Chris Reeve specific. If you could find somebody that had one that fell off a car or something and they damaged the handles, ran it over with the tractor.
Even then, though, I don't know if you're going to get it cheaper than $150.
No, but you're not going to probably wait for a year either. A year's a long time to wait, man.
Yeah. But he's already got the other two blade shapes, so it's not like he needs it right now to complete the knife.
What do you think, Kyle? You think we should call it? Let everybody get some sleep?
Yeah, it seems like people are kind of fading from what it seems like. I mean, I'll go if you want to go. I just
I'm good. I'm good to stay or good to go, but we can go. We can if we stay here, we'll probably keep people up. And I don't think my voice puts people to sleep. But like Paul says, I'm gonna leave it to Ghost Party. And we're gonna fade out to some Ghost Party. But guys, listen to the lyrics. I won't cut it off till it's over. Look out for the guy or gal to your left. Look out for the guy or gal to your right. I hope to see y'all Friday night. We will be getting it down, getting it around, and maybe we'll have a guest. Who knows? Kyle, you got any parting words?
Nope. Have a good night, everyone.
Love you guys. Peace.
Chilling moves, such a sight. Haunting people.